Herzlich willkommen, Tamara Weiland. Ich freue mich heute total und ich wechsle gleich auf Englisch. Sorry.
Alles gut.
I'm so used to speaking German in the interviews that I forgot that I'm already changed in English. So welcome Tamara
Um,
Weiland, who just founded her own academy, the Energy Medicine Academy. And she will share her story today, which is an amazing story, a very courageous story. And I invited her because I think that she has a lot to tell, how to walk your own path, how to overcome fear, how to really find your purpose. And yeah, so Tamara, just start with your story because you're not only a healer, founder of academy, you're a model, you have so much different experience, Brazilian, Austrian, all over the world, traveling. So just start telling your story.
Thank you so much for bringing on to this interview. And yeah, Charlotte and I know each other from a very long time ago, but always kept in contact and just love her energy and what she brings into the world. But back to your question. Indeed, I have a very mixed background. I was born in Vienna. My father's Austrian, but my mother is Brazilian. So I was always brought up with different cultural values and views. And always, when I was young, every year we used to visit my grandparents in Brazil. So I picked up, I would say, the best values and core beliefs from each culture. For example, the Austrians are more structured and punctual, but the Brazilians is more like open hearted and welcoming, I would say, than the Austrian. But from both sides, I always, was taught to have religious values. I also went to a Catholic high school here in Vienna. And from the Brazilian side, it was like more an emphasis on the spirituality. From a young age on, I also discovered that we are not only from flesh and bones, we are spiritual beings and we're not alone on this world. There are other entities and energies around us that communicate with us. And depending on how open you are, you can be a channel as well. And my grandfather was such a medium. So I saw already from a young age on that these things exist. Yeah, so that was really fascinating. But I was traveling a lot. I lived in Hungary when I was young, in Germany, in Austria. But then my traveling only started really when I started modeling at the age of 13. Before I was like the ugly duck, I would say,
I cannot believe
from
that.
because I felt as well a little bit more an outsider because of my height. I was always the tallest in the class since kindergarten, and it was really hard to make friends because, yeah, they didn't really felt comfortable with me or wanted to be a part of me, and called me like a bunch of names, like giant and yeah, like weird. So that was really tough to grow up like this, and yeah, especially now retrospective working on inner child beliefs, I really had to overcome this not being good enough or not being a part of the whole, being different. But then this kind of turned when I went into modeling at the age of 13. Then suddenly the tall girl became like the superstar, of the high school. So it was very different how people then also approached me. But I still had to work on my confidence and maintain a high self-esteem, but also groundedness, because this industry is very, very competitive. I know you also worked in fashion, so that you have to be really true to yourself, because you're constantly getting faced with people rejecting you, and yeah, if you don't take it personal, then, or if you do take it personal, it's can be very difficult time and a downward spiral. So thankfully I had a supportive family that helped me through my journey. Yeah, but during that modeling, I also went into spiritual topics. I was curious about the law of attraction and how I can create my future and create my desires and manifestations, and started working with crystals and a little bit of yoga, meditation. But then I started studying international communication management in the Netherlands, because I saw that modeling isn't really for the future, and it's not really stable. You never know how it's going to end at the end of the day. And that was also a huge shift, working independently with a lot of creative minds around the world. And then also living in the States, in Miami, where it's constantly sunny, and then going to the Netherlands where it's rainy and gray and not knowing anyone. Feeling also lost, not knowing why exactly I'm doing what I'm doing. And since I was young, I always wanted to do something that I'm deeply passionate about, and something that gives me purpose and lights up my heart. And yeah, communication seemed a good path, but I wasn't still sure about where I'm going or where it's leading to. And that was also difficult periods where I really went down that black tunnel, even starting to have existential questions, a lot of doubt, a lot of fear, sadness, because I was felt very lonely. And then it came to a point where I said, okay, I have to do something about it, and I can't continue like this. And I had to apply all the knowledge that I've gathered over the years from modeling, from my spiritual path, and apply it more on a daily basis. So I changed my diet, I changed the way I was working out, how I was engaging with my body and with my mind, changed the structures I was thinking. So I applied meditation practices and mindfulness, and went to different workshops and sound healing. And that's basically how it started, with my journey, with my healing journey. And then I felt this pull towards energy medicine. After graduation, I went back to Brazil. I lived there for half a year. And at first I did the Access Bars course. I don't know if you know. And then I did Reiki after I found it. I heard about it, but I never really had too much contact with this medicine. And then it just felt like a fit. It lighted up my heart, and I began sharing this practice and doing sessions for others, first for my friends and family, and then sooner enough also for other people that were reaching out to me. And yeah, that's my journey. And now I created my Energy Medicine Academy, where I'm sharing all these beautiful modalities with others. And my goal is really to start a movement of advocates for energy medicine, because it's truly changed and transformed my life. And I wish that for everyone as well.
Beautiful. So
Yeah.
before we go deeper into energy in medicine and what energy medicine is and what else you offer, I have so many questions while you were talking. It was just like, now I was like, wow. So how was it like to also have a grandfather who was a medium? How did you feel as a child about it?
So
Remember?
I yeah, I clearly, sorry for talking so long before, but I
It's
just
good.
have
No,
a
it's
lot
beautiful.
to
No, it's
say.
beautiful. And I'm just, I remember the questions I wanted to ask. So yeah,
Okay.
how was that?
Uh, I clearly remember the first time I saw, because with mediums, there are different types of mediums.
Mm-hmm.
And he was more an embodiment.
Mm-hmm.
So he really changed his movements,
Mm-hmm.
the way he was speaking, and even like the language was different.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I was around 6 or 7 years old when I saw it the first time. It was at the beach at
Mm-hmm.
New Year's. And from one moment to the other, he just like changed his behavior, his movements, his language. And I was a little shocked first. And I didn't know what was going on. I'm
Mm-hmm.
getting the chills now. And then my grandmother, she explained to me what it is, what it was, that, just spirits are all around us, and some people are more open to receiving those messages and spirits. We're all mediums, but I think some people are born more with that ability than others, but doesn't say you cannot get trained in it as well. And yeah, and then after we saw here and there some things, and in Brazil it's very openly communicated, and it's very normal and natural, and there are also many institutions or schools where you can train and learn yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that
So,
abilities.
mm-hmm. So it was something that already made you interested in the topic, but not like thinking, oh my God, like, no, what is this? It kind of scares me or something. It opened you to this experience.
Exactly,
Oh,
exactly.
beautiful.
Just the first instant was a little bit weird.
Mm-hmm.
um yeah, and then also, when I was in Brazil, I think about 3 years ago after I finished graduation, I also went to a school
Mm-hmm.
where they do, psychic surgeries or treatments.
Mm-hmm.
And it does feel a little weird or a little bit scary because it's heavier, more dense energies. But it's just so beautiful that people actually show you and teach you these tools. And yeah, because we are not alone.
Yeah.
And if you know how to deal with that and communicate with it, you can access higher states and just receive more guidance.
Mm.
That's what it is.
And how is it for you today?
What exactly?
Mediumship and also working with it.
Yeah. I went in Vienna,
Yeah.
surprisingly. There's also a school.
Mm-hmm.
I found it online.
Mm-hmm.
These things just, if you're open to it, it just comes to you naturally. And it was really nice to learn all the different levels. So some people are more they have more the vision, so they can
Mm.
see other spirits. Some can hear it, some can feel it, and some embody it. And also depends how much you train. So I'm slowly opening up myself to it because I know it's very intense and can be scary as well. Um, but I do enjoy receiving guidance from my spirit guides, from my angels. I believe in archangels, and they do want to help you, and we're here as a team to evolve. Um, and yeah, even if it's just like laying oracle cards or tarot, or just asking a question.
Yes.
I have a really funny one. I even asked one day if I should get tickets to the
Yes.
metro because I
Yes.
was in a rush.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked my team, please, can you tell me if I need to buy tickets? And I heard like a clear yes.
Mm.
It's not like your mind, it just comes
Yeah.
a strong feeling.
Mm.
And then I was worried, like, it's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine. I don't have to buy it. And then another big loud yes came. Said, okay, I'll listen to you guys. So I'm gonna buy the ticket.
Yeah.
So I'm in a metro, and then literally the control guy stood up next to me, asking for the tickets.
It's incredible
And
how these things
it's
work.
just like,
It's
wow, thank you guys. Yeah,
yeah,
it's just a
yeah,
funny story that you have to believe that
yeah.
they're here to help, and that
Mm.
it's not only in your mind,
Mm-hmm.
and you have to learn how to differentiate
Yes.
um these voices.
Yeah. I remember when it started with me, the whole mediumship and all these capabilities, I thought I'm crazy. And I always Googled everything and I thought, no, that's not true. And I always ignored it. But then when it comes so often, there's this, then this muscle is kind of built. So
Yeah, yeah.
um the next question I have for you, because you then going further in your story, you said that um you had these phases where you kind of felt lost, you were kind of excluded, um, also fear. So how did you cope with these kind of situations, or how did you start to learn to cope with fear, with yeah, with all these things we all cope with, but then you managed to really walk your path. So how did you manage? Mhm.
Mhm. So yeah, I was confronted with fear, with working with low self-esteem, with confrontation when I was modeling, and I started very young. So in those teenage years, you are getting to know yourself first.
Mm.
Um, but luckily, as I said, I had a very supportive family, so I knew that I could hold on to them. But then I also had to work within myself and know my value. And with time, then I understood, like, it's not about what other people think about you. It's more about what you believe, who you are, and you have to know your values and that you are unique the way you are.
Mm.
And it's more like a also mindset shift that it's like I don't really care what other people say. I'm just me, and whoever likes me, they like me, and whoever don't, then that's fine too. Like,
Mm.
I just want to be surrounded by people who cherish me and celebrate me.
Mm.
So it was more of that kind of shift, and then also certain tools help with creating more confidence within. For me, big one is also like being more grounded.
Mhm.
So I really enjoy spending time in nature,
Mhm.
releasing all that energy, come finding back to myself.
Mm.
Uh, and now I really love Reiki, so applying Reiki to myself, and especially, fear. I feel that it comes from our solar plexus.
Mhm.
So really strengthening that energy center, um, meditation, inner child work.
Mm.
There's so much that we can do, but at the core, it's understanding that you are unique the way you are and not giving a fuck like that,
Mhm.
if I can say that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's beautiful. And I really for all those people who are listening who think the modeling scene is so glamorous, I used to work in New York for model casting companies and for a company and we were casting for the New York Fashion Week. And I remember when I arrived there,
Mm.
I thought, oh my God, it's going to be so glamorous. It's going to be so beautiful, like all these beautiful people. And I realized that they were really treating the people like very badly. I mean, like really badly. They were like,
Mm-hmm.
they just he like the company I was working for, he was one of the like main casters. He said they don't even remember their names because who cares? And like don't even say hello to them because they just come. They're not even worthy of being said hello. They're just they just come in, you make a photo, you tell them they put their like t-shirt off so you can see them like and they would stand in their underwear and you would make a picture and they would just leave. And I thought like, oh my God. And like it's not glamorous at all. And I quit the job because I thought it was so terrifying to see that. So
Yeah.
I can just imagine like you 13 going through all that must have been like really devastating in that age or so, like yeah.
Mm.
So yeah.
I I don't know how I did it honestly. Like if I think back, it's just so ridiculous. Sometimes I would in the casting stay in line for 2 hours with thousands of other girls. Then you go in front of the casting directors. They don't even look at your face.
Yeah.
They just look at your pictures online and don't say a word. It's
Yeah.
like, okay, like,
Yeah.
so what's going on now? Do you like me? You do not like me? Like, at least it would be nice to, you know, get a
Yeah.
receive a thank you for waiting or for appreciation, but they just
Mhm.
treat you as robots or dolls.
Yeah.
And yeah, so you have to be really confident and really know your value and not get
Yeah.
affected by their rejections or behaviors.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think it's incredible that you grew out of this so like strong and with so much with all these techniques and with all that you've learned and you found your way with meditation and with Reiki and with all these kind of crystals and energy work and you do much more. You do cacao and sound healing and lots more. Um, but then you said, okay, just picking further in the story because I still have my questions in mind. So you had your modeling career. You had kind of this feeling, okay, I have to get strong inside. It was your kind of your first, okay, I have to go to in the inside to find the answers to my questions. That's what I kind of take with me right now, what you're saying.
Mhm.
And
Yes.
um, so then you went to study to Holland. And you said it was for you actually the hardest time and that you really fell into this dark hole where you even questioned life. And I know that. I mean, I had phases in my life where I'm like, I don't know if I want to be in this world. Like, I'm not so sure about this. And
Yeah.
so how did you find your way out of this hole? What was Yeah, what was the first step or the first thoughts? What drove you to really find the strength and get out there?
So in the Netherlands, I first stayed in a studio
Hmm.
apartment. So I was by myself in a building that was kind of empty. And for me, I think, or I think in general, it's just important to have a comfortable home, especially in the Netherlands. You're always inside, and the place was so small, so I could not invite anyone over. Um, so the first step for me was trying to find a bigger place so I could share it with a roommate, to have some social interaction and make it a little bit more warm and homey. Um, and also starting to work out more. In the first half year, because everything was so new, I didn't really go to a gym or practice yoga or anything. So I said, okay, I have to change this. Sometimes even now, like because of traveling here and there, I do not work out that much for a week, and my energy levels go down. I lose lack of motivation. But then one day I go to the gym and I feel like a complete different person. So moving your body is so essential, and yeah, this is just like a no brainer. You have to go out and move your body, even if it's just for a walk or yoga.
Mhm.
And my diet, I changed the diet. So I always went to markets and bought healthy, high vibrational foods that were fresh
Mm.
instead of packaged food from the supermarkets, because it's so important what you put in. And I believe that my body is my temple. So I only want to put great things in it.
Mm.
Um, and then participating in meditation groups and mindfulness and practicing by myself, but also with others. And I think that community aspect is really important to get yourself out of that situation. Um, and yeah, it just takes a lot of strength to change your behavior and change a different direction. But you just have to see one step at a time, and then other things come, and you see a different perspective. And in general, what I also see from people that I work with, we humans tend to have always like a tunnel view. We only see this one problem and we focus totally on that. But we need to have a higher perspective as well of the whole thing. And that brings so much relief. Um, so yeah, these were like the first steps to get me out of that really dark place. So it's community, living with someone else, moving your body, eating healthy, practicing mindfulness and meditation
Mm.
on a daily basis, and then further on doing inner child work and working on, who are all these parts of myself and what are my traumatic experiences that are still showing up in my life. Um, Doing things for self-love, and yeah, so
Yeah.
a lot of beautiful things. And then later on came more the energy medicine
Mhm.
that also was a game changer.
Mhm. So you finished your university. These tools helped you to get out of this dark hole. And then so what was your biggest takeaway in that time? What do you think was the biggest, like, if you would tell somebody in that situation right now, being in a dark hole, being like in this situation, not knowing where to go, what to do, what would you tell this person?
That there's always a light at the end of the tunnel. That even if you're in the darkest place that you can imagine yourself in, if you truly believe
Mm.
that there is another way, and that you just take one step at a time and not like see the big far goal ahead. You just take one step and then you work towards the lights, and that everything is possible and you can create your reality totally. You just have to work on yourself,
Mm.
and it's not easy, but
Yeah.
it's possible.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so after you finished your university, you did all that. You had your modeling career, or you still have. But what is it that really made you commit to that energy path and really decide, I'm going to do that now, no matter what society, and like, I have my studies, I have this, like, whatever what everybody, like, in the society today craves for, but then how did you find the courage really to say, no, I'm not going this path, but I'm going this path?
Yeah. So since I was young, it was really important to me to do something that I really enjoy and I really love and that gives me purpose. And I saw like so many adults were unhappy with their jobs. So I always said, like, I don't want to be like
Mm.
that. I want to do something that fulfills me.
Mm.
But then obviously society gets into your mind, and then your parents or their standards. So after studying, I started working with energy medicine on the side, but then also had a full-time job as a social media manager. And before I had various internships, but I just felt so deeply unhappy and totally not aligned what I was doing, and working for someone else and doing something that I didn't really see a positive impact on the world uh, really devastated me. So I continued working on my energy medicine. I had one-on-one sessions and workshops.
Mhm.
But after some time, I just said, okay, I have to make a cut from that social media job and really trust the universe and trust that this is my path, because whenever I'm practicing, I feel so aligned, I feel so alive and joyful. And I love seeing people get out of a session just with such a glow on their face and such grateful hearts. And I said, this is my path, and I know, and I will do anything I can to continue this. And it's not easy, because at first, a lot of people have different opinions on it. They don't understand what it is. They don't really see it as a job. And also, especially financially, it's really difficult to also to be independent. And yeah, but I always stood true to myself, and you have to stay strong. And if you know it deep in your heart,
Yeah.
if that's what's right for you, then it will happen. And yeah, I'm really excited that I launched my academy now, and can share these tools with others so they can also inspire others with these modalities. And yeah, it's been a difficult but really beautiful path, and I just love it so much, and I feel so alive when I talk about it or practice it.
Mm. I feel you totally. It's not easy, but it's beautiful and it's worth it. So, what is energy medicine for you?
Um, Energy medicine is for me, there are different modalities. So if you say, before I used the word energy healing,
Hmm.
and with healing, you get a lot of expectations. And that's why I changed it to energy medicine.
Hmm.
So energy medicine for me has various modalities that work with your body, mind, and spirits, and it's more a preventative and regenerative process that helps you on your journeys or inquiries. So what I practice is Reiki, access bars, shamanic tools like cacao ceremonies, sound meditation. So I work with various instruments, like, for example, the gong I have here, and then some crystal bowls,
Hmm.
um, because these tools just work on a subconscious level, but also with your nervous system. And a lot of new studies are also coming out that these methods are really, really beneficial for your entire whole being.
And it's incredible because when I go to sound healing or gong baths, it's like, oh my God, it's so simple, but it's so intense.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so it's beautiful. And also the of course Reiki. I mean, I'm also doing Reiki and teaching Reiki, so I love Reiki. And so I think everybody should learn Reiki. Seriously, it's something that's supposed to
Mm,
be just basic for everyone. Um,
yeah.
and cacao ceremonies is something so beautiful, especially, I don't want to discriminate men now, but especially for women to come into this feminine heart opening center and femininity and all these kind of things.
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna post also the link from your site in the comments, so everybody who's interested can just click on the link and see what you're offering. You're also offering one-to-one sessions. Now you're in Austria. I think there's some things coming up. So
Mhm.
everybody who's interested, just there, she has an event space where you can see the events and all the courses and whatever you offer. So what is it you want to still give away? So what is it you want to tell the people who are listening? What is important in finding the purpose, walking the path, um, yeah, finding their own truth? What is it you would want to share?
That you have to just believe in yourself, that you're this beautiful and magical and perfect being just the way you are, and you have to shed those layers that you were conditioned so you can be your most authentic and most aligned self. And it's a journey, and every day, every week, every month, every year, we all get more closer to our higher self. But for some it might take longer, and some others it might be faster, but it's just the shedding and just knowing who you are and
Mm,
being yourself and loving yourself. And I think that's what's so essential and so important. And if we all could just be ourselves and be free of the fear of the fear of judgment from others, this world will be so different.
yeah, I
Yeah.
totally agree with you. Yeah. Is there anything else you want to share or say or
Um, no, I really thank you so much for the opportunity to spread the word to others and inspire others to look into energy medicine and take their path and journey to their authentic selves. Um, yeah, as I said, as you said, I'm here in Vienna until the end of
Mhm,
June.
mhm,
And this week on Wednesday and next Wednesday, I have two workshops. So next Wednesday, it's like a cacao ceremony. It's on summer solstice,
mhm,
which is a beautiful day to work with our third energy center, our solar plexus, because the sun is at its highest point.
mhm,
And it's a great time to manifest as well. And with the cacao, you can open up the heart space, let emotions flow. So your manifestations come into reality much quicker and much faster. So I invite anyone to join, and also to my academy, to my training programs. It starts in September. I have one 5-month training program where I teach all the different energy modalities that I practice,
mhm,
from Reiki, sound meditation, shamanic
mhm,
practices. But I also offer just single 1-month programs. So if you decide to just learn about sound meditation, for example, you can also do that. And my goal is to focus a lot on practice, but also on theory,
mhm,
but have everything very compact, because I've been to a lot of workshops and certification programs, and it's
mhm,
just so stretched out. Like you could have totally combined it and made it more precise. And
mhm.
um, yeah,
So
so that's basically it.
if anybody has a question for you, how can they find you or how can they reach you? Through the website
So
or is
I
there at any place else? Yeah.
yeah, so through my website, the energymedicineacademy.com,
Mhm.
but also my social media, so Instagram and TikTok, Energy Medicine Academy. And yeah, yeah, you can also find my email. So feel free to message me. And
Perfect.
yeah, thank you
Thank
so
you so
much.
much for taking the time, for being here, and for like you have such a beautiful, it's like you're so soft and so fragile, but so strong and so beautiful because it's like this combination and
Thank you.
yes, and this beauty inside and outside. So thank you for being here. Thank you for doing all that work. Thank you for yeah. your existence, for your being.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you so much, Charlotte.
So
And
yeah,
have a very beautiful day.
you too. All the best from Barcelona.